Alrighty, aloha. We are live. It's Biz Coach Claire, and I am with Daryn Ogino. He is one of many speakers that will be joining us on Saturday, November 13th, Hawaii time, 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. Daryn, welcome.
Aloha, Claire. Thanks for having me on.
So, introduce yourself. Tell us about your company and what you do.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Daryn Ogino. I'm the president and founder of Smart Money Incorporated. We are a residential wholesale mortgage broker. We have been in business since the end of 2007, so we're in our 14th year, going on to our 15th, and we've been serving the entire state of Hawaii since then. Um, if you noticed, our start date is kind of near the subprime meltdown. So we did start in the middle of a meltdown, but we are one of the few that are still standing today. And our purpose is to mainly serve the local people of Hawaii, and to make sure that locals are able to get into their primary home, either via a purchase or for locals that are already homeowners, we are able to give them options as far as refinancing, restructuring their current loan into something that is more optimal for their path of wealth building. And I think, in your money talk, that's the whole purpose of the money talk is to have a team of experts to work together to come up with this plan.
Absolutely love it. And you have such insight. You've been in the industry for, like you said, going on 13 years
Well, it's
or 14
industry.
years.
I've been in the industry for 17 years. The company
Wow.
is in its 14th year. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So I've been
yes.
doing this for almost 2 decades.
Wow. Yes. So you've seen the trends, you've seen what goes on and how it affects our mortgage rates, right? So,
Absolutely. Yeah. I've seen the ups and the downs. I've seen the worst, in the last 2 decades, but with every down, there's usually some kind of fierce comeback. And it's why I'm not too worried about, the future so much. I mean, it's always good to be a bit cautious about what's going to happen, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But, consistency and, not being over leveraged is one of the key to succeeding in this.
love it. And I'm so honored and grateful to have you as one of the speakers. So you have a reputation in your industry as being, you're not only, I consider you a true entrepreneur because you jumped in and owned your, you started your own business during the just before 2008 when people were going down and closing down. You were opening shop. So truly an entrepreneur and at the same time an expert in your industry. So if you can share your thoughts on the on what do we have to look forward to, because it's 2021 is coming to an end, 2022 is up ahead, and so what's your insight on that?
Well, I mean, I'll get more into it on the Money Talk show, but you know, in a high level overview of what's going on is that interest rates will start to go up, you know. Um, I won't get into the nitty-gritty of why so much or, following different indexes, but inflation is an issue and interest rates are kind of tied in with bonds, and inflation is the enemy of bonds. So if you've been watching the news, inflation is real. If you watch real estate prices, you're seeing that prices are up more than 25% on the year just in Hawaii, and it's happening all over the nation. And Hawaii tends to be a different place, right? Like you always hear people say only in Hawaii, right? Oh, Hawaii issues or Hawaii problems like shipping and whatnot, right? It's the same thing with real estate. It's good to watch the national news and to kind of get a broad picture of what's happening, but to understand your local market is probably the most important thing. And inventory issue has been an issue nationwide, but in Hawaii, it's especially tough, as far as inventory. There's just not enough homes to build, not enough land to build on, but then uh, unwavering amount of people wanting to purchase a home. So whether rates go up or down, or sideways or whatever, inventory will always be an issue. And with that being said, it's basic economics, right? Supply and demand. If inventory supply is an issue and demand is always high, then the only thing that you can really count on is that prices will always either move sideways or up. And I think it's going to move up, maybe not at the same um, velocity that it has in the last 2 years during the pandemic, but definitely at a slower pace, but definitely not, I don't think we're going to see a crash like 2008.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for that insight, Daryn. And yes, I'm looking forward to hearing you speak on our Money Talk segment on November 13th. But now I'd like to get to, the audience get to know you as a person. I mean, we know each other on a personal level, and you know, you're absolutely amazing. All of our colleagues just absolutely love you. So not only are you an industry expert, you're a business person, but you're a dad, a family man, and just like born and raised here in Hawaii, and really have a heart for serving people. So, yes, share with us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Well, the first thing I usually like to lead off with whenever I speak to you is that, Claire and I have known each other since elementary school days. But we did not know that until maybe 30 years later, after elementary was done. So we figured it out,
Yes,
30 years after. We could have paid off a mortgage, Claire. If we had started in
yes.
elementary, our mortgage would have been
Iolani
paid off.
Elementary School. Yes, Iolani Elementary School in Kaimuki. Love it. So that's where
Yeah.
we went to school together. Yes.
Mhm. But for me, I mean, I'm a family man. I only have one child, Porter, who we adore, absolutely love him, and we try to take advantage of every moment we can because we know time is precious. I started this in this industry 17 years ago, and I don't think at that time I would have ever thought I'd be uttering 17 years doing the same thing, straight without any breaks, without any distractions. And time has just gone by. Mostly, we like to hang out as a family. We're somewhat introvert, so we're not out and about as much as maybe others are, but we do family stuff. We enjoy the old school way of doing things. My son doesn't play video games as much as he would like to. We do mostly things at the park, or try to hit the pool or the beach, or whatever we can on the weekends. We enjoy our sushi, so um, that's what we do. As far as business life, I mean, I've you had mentioned I started in 2007 and haven't looked back, and it's been a struggle. It was really hard in the beginning, really scary as well. So for the entrepreneurs out there, I mean, I think when you're kind of in that mode of being scared, or being in a place where it's do or die, I think it forces you to be resilient. It forces you to adapt. It forces you to make the changes necessary. Where if you were in a comfortable state, you might not actually act upon it because you're in a comfortable state. One of the things we enjoy doing is giving back to the community. We have a really strong relationship with the Marine Reconnaissance Foundation. We donate to them throughout the year. One of our friends is the director at the Hawaii Nature Center. We're doing some activities this weekend after the Money Talk show. We're going to go up there to help clean some of the stream side beds of the stream, and we're constantly looking for different places where we can give. And at the end of the day, all we really have is our time. So we're just trying to enjoy our life and trying to give back to the people, and that's it. Pretty simple.
I love it. Thank you, Daryn. Oh, that's you're at, the core value of who you are and what you represent is absolutely amazing. And I think that's a reflection of your business and what you've created and how you've made an impact in the local economy too, to where you've gotten a lot of homeowners, excuse me, into their homes, and absolutely amazing. I love referring people to you, and same with me, just to talk story and to ask you questions. So for like first time homeowners, they're a little ashamed or they think they can't own their home, and yet you just keep it real, and there's no judgment from you, and that's what I love about it. So money talk is where it's for everybody of all income levels, and I uh, really want to express to people that the people that I have, like the speakers like you, although you are a successful businessman and been in the industry, that we can approach you with whatever situation we're in. And like I said, there's no judgment. So can you touch upon that, Daryn?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that, going back to first time home buyers, I think the biggest roadblock for first time home buyers is that they don't start to look deeply, right off the bat. They read articles. Google is my friend. It's one of those things where, like, the new generation thinks that, just Googling things, you can find all your information. And trust me, I Google a lot of things. I feel like that has made me more resourceful because I'm able to get, surface knowledge on certain topics, and that, has made me better in my life. But at the end of the day, I mean, you really need to do your homework, and you really need to talk to someone that's already done it, right? I mean, you don't want to, just read articles and get an opinion of from someone that you don't even know, right? Doesn't even live in Hawaii, hasn't been doing this for the last 2 decades. Where someone like me, I'm here to just not just be a friend, but to give you practical advice, right? To get to the point of this is what I can or cannot do. And that's the one thing you always get from us. If you start something with us, even if you can't buy a home right now or can't refinance right now, we're going to come up with a plan to make sure that you're able to do it, because you need that path, you need that structure, in order to get there. So my advice is just do your due diligence. No one's going to do the homework for you. You know what I mean? So you need to act, and not really use Facebook, Instagram, social media, even some of the news stations. I'm not going to mention news stations out there because they're giving false information, and they're only giving you high level information that might not even pertain to your scenario. So my biggest advice is to fill out a loan application. Doesn't mean you're actually applying for a loan, but it's basically giving us the information to allow us to give you enough information to make an informed decision. You know, um, I guess an analogy that I could use is, a lot of people ask me like, what's your rate? What's your rate? That's the probably the most common question I get is, what's your rate? And I'm like, well, it depends. Like, how much do you have as a down payment? What's your credit score? How much money do you make? You know, where do you want to buy? Because certain loans are made for certain areas. Are you a first time home buyer? You know, are you self-employed? How long have you been self-employed? So, bottom line is, we need all this information to really tell you what you can do, and really put you in a position to plan ahead. You know, and I think this is what the Money Talk program is going to do. It's really going to bring a bunch of smart people in different areas and really put all the pieces together, because mortgage real estate is just one piece of the pie. You know, it's like having salad with only lettuce. You know what I mean? You need all the other ingredients to make it a good salad. So you need all your other speakers in there as well. So
I love that. That's beautiful. Love that, Darren. And yes, what I love is that, like you said, whether the person is ready and can qualify for a loan or not, at least coming to you, talking to your team, filling out a loan application, you can create a plan for them. And I love that. So even I hear from other people that consulted with you, you come up with some ideas for them and a strategy to where in a few months, in a year, they will be ready. So I love that. And you
yeah.
giving people hope where, we think, oh, I'm never going to be able to do this, but you're giving them a plan of action, steps they can take, and hope. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, a lot of people think of a mortgage of just, when you buy a home, but I also want people to think of the other side too. Once you're a homeowner, what do you do, right? There's companies, large companies that sponsor the Super Bowl, the UFC. They have million-dollar commercials, um, putting meme type uh, verbiage onto, like, one of it's called your Yorgage, right? They're trying to make fun of not fun of the industry, but make mortgages sound so fun that you need to just do it. But it's never a just doing it thing. And for me, if you ever talk to me or one of my associates at my company, they're gonna start asking you questions like, do you have life insurance? Do you have mutual funds? Do you have stock accounts? Do you have IRAs, 401ks? Um, do you have long-term disability insurance? And we don't sell any of those products, you know. But the reason why we ask those questions is because what you're bringing on to the Money Talk is all of these experts, right? And it's never about just the mortgage. It really isn't. If you talk to anybody and all they do is spit out a rate and a plan and don't know anything else about anything else of your financial portfolio, then they're not asking the right questions and they're not looking to see how does your mortgage payment play into having, permanent life insurance or index universal life or, your 401k, how much cash flow it frees up for you to start contributing to a matching 401k or anything like that. So for us, it's always looking at the entire picture, and it always starts with just applying, and that's really it, you know.
Yes, love it. Thank you, Daryn. So what I get from it is what sets you apart is number one, you treat the person holistically. You don't just look at, okay, I'm one piece of your puzzle. I'm just your mortgage guy. You're looking at the entire life, financial life, basically of this person. You're looking at them as a person, not just, you're just not just a company that's trying to close and get them a mortgage. The other thing is that I love is that you are not locked into one particular uh, bank or industry or company. So if you can expound on that too, expand on that.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way is to think about a mortgage broker and smart money is kind of thinking of us like as an Expedia or a Travelocity, right? So when you are planning a trip and you go onto Expedia and you put in your destination and your nights there, all these airlines start populating onto the screen, right? Does Expedia or Travelocity own those airlines? No, they don't. But those airlines know that they are on this platform that is going to compare rates to each other. So they need to put their best foot forward. We're the same thing on the mortgage side, right? So we're the Expedia or the Travelocity of mortgage. All these lenders that we work with know they're going to be compared to each other. So they have to give us good rates. On top of that, we eliminate the marketing for the mortgage banker itself, right? They don't need to pay for marketing. We are their marketing team. So there's less overhead for them, there's less oversight for them, which then trickles down to bigger savings for the lender, which allows them to give us better rates. And then once it hits the consumer, it'll be a better rate at a better cost because of the limited overhead, given to the lender.
Love it. Yes. Thank you, Daryn. Thanks for explaining that. So Daryn Ogino is the guy to know, Smart Money Hawaii. He is one of many speakers on Money Talk on November 13th. And yes, he has a busy schedule. I know he's giving back to the community right after he speaks. So thank you, Daryn. Thanks for all you do, to helping local people save money really on something that costs ends up being probably the biggest purchase they end up making, and yet
For
you
most, yeah.
are, yeah, and you end up helping them in such a huge way, and not only looking at them as just a business transaction, but looking at them as this is affecting their life, and I love that. So very heart centered. Daryn Ogino's very heart centered. And any closing remarks as we go as we close?
Yeah, I mean, just thank you for having me on. I appreciate you and our friendship and, the relationship we built over these years. And to the people out there, I mean, just join us on Money Talk this weekend. Claire and I and a few others will be enlightening you with lots of information. So bring your notepads, be ready to learn, be ready to figure out how to make more money.
Yes, love it. Thank you, Daryn. Awesome.